sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button, turn your notifications so you are notified each time I upload, and please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I am saying big shout out to you all for the love, the support. You all shower me here with the comments, the likes. You all are super sweet. So today we'll be talking something very important, and now I am going to say this. I really used to not care about how Caucasians wear braids or locks and all that. Like, I am always like, F them. But today I care, because if we cannot wear our hair, if we cannot wear braids, if we cannot wear locks, why would you wear it and say you are appreciating our culture? You are not appreciating it. You are making it harder for us to wear it, because a high school student he has been expelled how many times? He stayed home without going to school. Why? Because he has locks that was cornrowed. And there is someone in the same school with locks, a Caucasian, and their own locks are just flying around, not packed and all that. But a black person was expelled, not to come to school anymore. But the Caucasian is in the school, moving around freely. All of them moving around freely. Why do we have to go through this in 2023? And then they pass Crown Act. So why did they pass that? If school are still going to keep segregating, you see why black people really do not want, they just want their own. How is it hard? A white person can wear it and it is all professional, but we that own that style cannot wear it because it is ghetto. And you think that it's cool. That is okay. It is not okay. And I am of the opinion that the school and everybody involved with the expulsion and everything should be sued. And that is on period. I don't care what you all got to say about this. We can't keep going through this all the time. And people are all over the TikTok and all that saying they are appreciating our culture. You are not appreciating it. You are making it harder for us to wear it. I am rolling this clip. See you.
He's Caucasian, and he's not Nazi. So y'all gonna put him in?
What's good? I got time for this. I got time for this today. I'm not speaking to you as a pastor. I'm not coming to you as a preacher. I need to talk about this hair thing real quick. Amazing that, again, we have another occurrence of someone worrying about someone's hair. Now, before all of it's the rules and it's the code, people come on my page trying to trip and, mentally come for me with foolishness about what you thought or what have you. We're talking about a natural occurrence on someone's body. A young man in Texas, if you look at the video, was suspended from school numerous occasions because his hair did not fit their dress code. Wait. I could have swore that the Crown Act was passed in reference to people of color and our hair, which sadly took forever to pass because, again, this is our natural hair. These are natural occurrences for us. Many of us don't need mousse. We don't need chemicals and things that make our hair stand straight. This is what our hair does. But amazingly, this young man, he comes to school, and when he comes to school, they're telling him that he can't come in because we have a code and you cannot have hair that looks like that. We say that's not racism, and we always holler about, oh, there they go with the race card. Isn't it amazing that the things that we cry as racism, people who benefit or people who have no clue are the first ones to have something to say? This is his hair, born with hair. Not acquired, not weave, not wig, but acquired hair. And they're telling him that he's suspended because of how his hair is. When did we start doing that? That's no different than telling people of color that they can't drink out of a fountain. You can't drink out of that white fountain because of what you look like. Fast forward to 2023, you cannot come into our school because of what your hair looks like. We cannot help that our hair looks like this. This is a natural occurrence. What if all of the people of color decided to buy up every beach in America? And before we allow Caucasian people to come on our beach, we had to do a skin test to say, wait a minute, you're a little bit too light. And if you're a little bit too light, you cannot come on our beach. Do you see how ludicrous that sounded? It's the same concept. And again, I get it. We've got rules and we've got regulations, and the regulations say that he cannot do his hair, blah, blah, blah. But what about the Caucasian students that are assimilating the culture that have dreadlocks in the exact same school? The principal, the young man who they're speaking with in the video, watch the whole video. He says, well, I'm not aware of him. You are aware of one student that has dreadlocks, braids, but you're not aware of all of the other Caucasian students that are assimilating the culture. If you really think about it, he says, well, if you look in the video, he says, well, that's a religious preference, and it's possibly a religious preference. So a young Caucasian male with dreadlocks who has no bloodline that is connected to anything that is dreaded or Rastafari has the authority to wear dreadlocks, but a young man who wears braids, they have a problem with that. Would they ask the same question for a young Jewish boy that had a yarmulke? They would say, oh, well, that's his religious purpose. How do you know that the braids and the dreads are not our religious culture? How do you know it's not a part of whatever religious sect that we belong to? But yet they have something to say. I asked the question, and this is nothing against my LGBT family because I love all of them, but if they were transgender and a boy were growing his hair out, would this be an issue? I pose these questions because here we are centuries later and people are still angry about the way we wear our hair. Oh, they've got braids and they've got dreads, so they must be thugs. But yet we have Caucasian students doing the same thing. But yet you say that they're expressing themselves. And I know I hear people say, well, there you guys you're bringing race again. There's a dress code again. The dress code, nothing was said to the other students. And if you look at the entire video, there are numerous Caucasian children who have dreadlocks. Hey, they're free to express themselves. They'll never get the culture. They may be able to assimilate, read a bunch of books and a couple of YouTube channels, but they'll never be able to participate in the culture because at the end of the day, that young man walked in school with braids in his hair and he's told he has to go home. But the other kids, nobody says a word. Oh, there they go, the race card again. If y'all quit being racist, we'll stop hollering the race card. But again, I already know from a mental standpoint that there are going to be numerous people that come for me on this video that are going to be unprepared because at the end of the day, you can't come with, well, it's the code. It's the code. This is our natural state. This is a natural state of who we are, and putting our hair in a style that is presentable is what we've always done. And you hear people say about hair, well, those cornrows and those dreads, those things are offensive unless Kim Kardashian does them a couple of years ago. And the same people that said that cornrows and braids were offensive because they were on black people are the same people that say, oh, Kardashian's wearing cornrows. That is just innovative and that is cutting edge. No, that's assimilating a culture because our people put cornrows in their hair to draw roadmaps for slaves to get free. But again, many of you will say, well, that's not it. And how come you people can't just let it go? We would let it go if there was a fair treatment, but there's not a fair treatment. And we say, well, slavery's over and I didn't own any slaves. Okay, you may not have owned any slaves, and I get that. And I respect you for even saying that. But those same companies that made money off of slave labor, those same companies that are still making money off of slave labor, you all need to get over the past. If we got to get over slavery and everything that came with it, you all need to get over 9/11. Get over Pearl Harbor, because innocent Americans died. And it was a tragedy on American soil. Just like with slavery, millions of slaves died on American soil, but you don't want to recognize it. And you think that you can put laws in place to help you forget about it, to make your conscience feel better. But we're talking about natural hair. And again, we cannot help that our hair gets here and it sticks up without the aid of mousse. We don't need it. That's who we are. But when do we say when we say equality? Hey, how about we practice it? It's easy to say that you guys need to just stop talking about it and blah, 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 because many black people are successful. Yes, very much so. But how much more stuff are you going to watch from TikTok and just turn your other cheek and ignore? How much more stuff are you going to see on the news and social media as it comes to people of color and you're just going to turn and ignore? You're wanting to really dive into it, but you're afraid of how your family will treat you. So you'll stay neutral and you won't say anything. And there will be people of color that will come on this video and say, well, you got to understand that that's the code and that's the code. Okay, but what if we start enforcing these codes as a people? Then what? Oh, numerous lawsuit after lawsuit, because it's always good when they do it. But when we decide to implement something like that, then it becomes, an issue. Let the young man express his heritage and let him go to school. Do we go to our Irish brothers and sisters who I love dearly and tell some of them to dye their red hair blonde, to cover up their freckles? Do we tell them any of that? We don't say any of that, but it's only when it comes to people of color that many people, not all, many people have an issue. Let the child go to school and get his education and express himself. Because if you said nothing to the young Caucasian men that are walking around with dreadlocks in the same school, but yet you pinpoint one young man and then you decide to suspend him, thereby pausing his education, there's still a problem. Rules or not, we're talking about natural look. We're not talking about anything assimilated. We're not talking about anything perpetrated. We're talking about a natural look. Sooner or later, y'all will get the picture. Yeah, and sooner or later, my people, y'all got to get to the point where you provide more action versus words. I'm already in it. Hey, what are you doing?
And stuff at the back. This is what we talking about. Like, this is why.
That part right there. So if you have not seen this entire video yet, I would highly recommend going back and giving it a watch and then coming back and hearing what I have to say. I want to start off by addressing the part of this video that I snipped. And I snipped it for a very... stitched it. I said snipped. I guess I snipped and stitched. Anyways, I chose that part for a very specific reason. And that's because it breaks my heart that in 2023, as Black people, we still have to explain our hair. What the fuck explanation do you need from me? It grew out of my head like this, and I'm done explaining myself. I don't understand why this is still a thing. How is it possible that we as Black people have to explain something that grows out of our head? It's a part of me. What is there for me to explain? If my hair was straight and I had long flowing locks, there would be no explanation needed because people would be raving about how fucking beautiful my hair was. But as Black people, no one raves about how beautiful our hair is, except for us. And even half the time we don't do that because we're covering it up with wigs and weaves and fucking relaxers and who only knows what else. And I say that as someone who has done it all, okay? But like, seriously, aren't you tired of fucking explaining yourself? Like, I'm tired of explaining just being a fucking human being, right? That's what a human being is. It's a human being. And I'm like, I'm just trying to be a human being, right? I'm just trying to be a Black woman who lives in America. That's it. I'm trying to mind my own business and live my best fucking life. And instead, we're met with getting in trouble for our hair being a certain way. And it's like, so let me get this straight. Fucking Sasha with her long blonde hair can wear her hair down to the floor and it can be dragging the floor, getting everywhere, causing a mess, and then she's flinging that shit around on everybody. And no one says shit about her except for, damn girl, your hair is beautiful. How'd you get it that long? But let a Black boy fucking walk around with his hair neatly braided up above the nape of his neck, and he's fucking getting heat for it. Like, the fuck, you say? The fuck? The fuck? Why? Why are we still explaining ourselves at this point in time? I'm done explaining myself. And I say this as someone who has had to explain themselves so many times because I've grown up in a predominantly white, town, city, county, state, like, you know what I mean? And so it's like, I have to explain just being me, because even though we're different from each other, right, in ways, black people, white people, men, women, even though we're different than each other, it's seen as you're different than me, right? That's the problem. Is it seen as you're the other, and my difference, right, my difference of opinion from you is superior to your difference of opinion from me, even though we both just have differing opinions or differing views or differing whatever. It's yours is wrong and mine is right, right? Like, your hair is wrong, because what the fuck is that? Like, what, what, this shit should be straight, right? It should be straight. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then we're made to explain our hair. We're made to explain ourselves as if we are less than. How dare we have a right to be seen as equals? No, your hair is different. Your skin is different. Your nose is different. Your lips are different. And I'm going to need you to explain your very fucking existence to me. This is how I feel. This is how I feel so often. And I feel like this is how many black people feel. We have to explain our fucking existence. Think about the gravity of that. Think about the gravity of that. To have thousands, we probably come in contact with thousands of people in our lifetime, maybe more, depending on what you do, you know? And to have a large subsection of them ask you to explain yourself. Think about that, what that does to a person's psyche, that you have to explain why the fuck you exist and why you exist in the form that you exist in. Like, I really, especially if you are someone of privilege, especially if you are someone who is, and vice privilege, I mean, you've never had to conceptualize what I'm saying to you right now. You've never had to conceptualize it for yourself until this very minute. To have to think about what that feels like, to have to explain your existence repeatedly, not once, not twice, hundreds, if not thousands of times, year after year after year after year, generation after generation after generation after generation. Think about what that does to a person. If every single time I saw you, I asked you, why is your hair straight? Why is your nose so thin? Why are your lips so thin? Why is your skin so pale? And why doesn't your hair look like mine? Why doesn't your skin look like mine? Why doesn't your nose look like mine? Why don't your lips look like mine? Actually, no, I'll take your lips, and that's why I'm getting filler. Why doesn't your skin look like mine? Actually, I kind of like your skin too. I don't like it on you, but I do love going and getting tans. This is what we experience every day. This type of shit. And then to see a video of this boy being reprimanded for his hair that is neatly braided up his head. And meanwhile, a white student in dreadlocks that's past his shoulders is allowed to just walk around, and not just allowed to walk around, but immediately defended. What did he say? Watch the video. Watch the video and tell me, what did he say? Immediately, when she said, well, this white boy's walking around with dress, he said he may have a religious exemption. Now, did you give that black boy the same consideration? Probably not. This is the problem. We can't keep going on like this. I can't keep going on like this. So I'm going to ask for everyone who's still watching, what are we, no matter your race, what are we going to do about this? Because it takes participation from everyone to get the equality that we're looking for anyone. So what are we going to do about this?
Why do we keep begging over and over again for to be treated fairly, and instead of just enforcing our own brand of justice? Stop begging these people. Sue. Sue them, sue the district, sue the school, sue the individuals who are enforcing the rules, sue the individuals who came up with the rules, and in your settlement, in that settlement offer, demand that they all be fired. Demand that you get a part of all of their pensions. The union. Everybody needs to be named in a lawsuit. Every individual that's enforced it and everybody that's been complicit. We sitting here begging just to go to school over some foolishness. All because they want to find different ways to discriminate against black people. And we just begging, thinking of suing.
He's Caucasian, and he's not an ISS. So y'all.
And this is why I would never ever stop complaining about white people having styles that aren't for them. This young man is going to ISS for a second time because of his locks being in a protective style. Meanwhile, there's a white kid on campus who is absolutely walking around with his locks down to his shoulders. They're not groomed. They're not pent up like school policy says it should be. This is why I can't stand when people be like, it's just hair. No, it's not just hair, because white people could do whatever the fuck they want with their hair and not have to be sat down by any exec or any school board member and say, hey, you need to fix that up or otherwise this is what will happen to you. Like I said, a young man is going to ISS over hair, not because he stole, not because he was late, not because he was skipping, not because he harassed anybody, because of his goddamn hair.
Are you aware that they have a Caucasian student with dreads?
Now, if y'all have not watched that video, go ahead and watch that video. It's a 10-minute video, but I'm going to just go into detail about a short detail. It's about a student with dreads that went to high school, but the school that he went to has a hair policy, and they said that his dreadlocks violated the hair policy. But the lady that was a representative said that she saw a Caucasian person with dreadlocks, and he was not an ISS. It seems like the young man was an ISS. This is what I am talking about. And for all those conservatives out there that were so quick to come on my videos and leave these comments talking about hair discrimination doesn't exist, people can wear whatever hairstyle they want to. Obviously, we cannot. Because that young man is an ISS for wearing dreadlocks. A hairstyle that is for our people. Well, any race can wear them, but it's mostly geared towards our people. So he's an ISS for that, but a young Caucasian man is not. And they still want to sell us on this whole hair discrimination doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist, then we wouldn't need the Crown Act now, would we? But if y'all want to go ahead and watch that video, please go ahead and watch that video. But this is what I'm talking about. These conservatives on TikTok want to tell you that it doesn't exist. It does exist. It still does. And we see people out there fighting to make sure that this doesn't become a current thing where our children must feel the need to fight and feel comfortable in their natural hairstyles, and for them to be accepted amongst on top of our head. That is an important thing, because why should we have to conform to something that's not originally ours? We want our own. We want to be comfortable in our own spaces. We want to be comfortable with our hairstyles that are traditionally ours. So if you want to go ahead, watch that video, please go ahead and watch that video. If you like any more videos like this, please subscribe and please hit that follow button. And I'll talk to you guys soon. But if you want to have a discussion about it, leave a comment in the comment section below. Thank you and have a nice day.
Alright, it is 2023, so my question is this. If white women, as like myself, can have any hairstyle that I want and still be employed, I can go get a job right now and have locks in my hair. So what is any different than a brown person or any melanated person? Their hair, it is natural. It grows out of their scalp that way. Why do you white people, and I'm not included in that because it's your hair is beautiful. So why do certain white people have such a fucking issue with the natural hair that these beautiful melanated people were born with? Do you know how embarrassing it is to be a white woman in 2023? Because shit like this makes us all look bad. Just know that I don't agree with this. I believe that there shouldn't be such a thing as the Crown Act. Alright? We should just let them have their fucking hair the way they want it. Just as we have our hair the way we want it. The Constitution states every man is created equal. I don't see that in this America.
So this is all I got from the stitches, and there are so many stitches, but I decided to take few. I am usually of the opinion that I don't care when people wear braids. Let them. I do not have that time. But today, I am not okay with them, any Caucasian or anybody wearing braids. Why? Because how can this young man go through all this? I mean, he's been expelled twice, not for doing anything. I mean, he was not actually, they stopped him from coming to school. He did not do anything bad. He did not do anything wrong, just because of his hair, his locks, that was even matted, like cornrowed and like well packed. Mine is just dangling as ponytail. No, his own was just cornrows and well packed. And the school said it is against the school rules and regulation. So why is somebody's natural hair against the rules and which rules and regulations? But it is okay for a Caucasian in the same school to have locks that is not even packed, just dangling above his shoulder in the same school as the same boy. I mean, how is this even okay? How are we even talking about this? How are we even begging? No, there is no need to beg. There is no need to ask you to allow him to come to school and all that. I thought there is what they call Crown Act. What happened to it? That people should not be discriminated by their hair. Now you see why black people do not like to share. Because when a black person wears locks, it is ghetto. But when they wear it, it is beautiful. And they have the guts to tell us that they are appreciating our culture. How are you appreciating our culture when you are making it hard or harder for the people that own that same culture to wear it? Are you guys for real right now? And is this school for real right now? Like one of the brothers that stitched the video said, Sue every one of them from beginning to end. Let all their names be in the paper so that their pension, you will get their pension. Because enough of all this bullshit. A white person can wear locks, do anything to her hair, lock her hair, wear braids or color her hair, and go to school or go get a job. But a black person cannot wear his hair to do all this because it is not accepted, it is not professional, it is ghetto. So from today onwards, if I see anybody on braids, I do not want to let it go. I am not gonna let it go. Because you can't keep stealing from us and then call us the criminal. No way. This is where I am gonna draw the curtain. Thank you so much for the support, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye for now.